Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page to watch on demand. Today is March 25th, 2019. And now the news at noon.
From the Durango Herald, Aaron Francisco Chavez swallowed at least one of the sky blue pills at a Halloween party before falling asleep forever. He became yet another victim killed by a flood of illicit fentanyl smuggled from Mexico by the Sinaloa cartel into the Southwest, a profitable new business for the drug gang that has made the synthetic opioid responsible for the most fatal overdoses in the U.S. 3 others at the party in Tucson also took the pills nicknamed Mexican Oxy. They were saved after partygoers flagged down police who administered naloxone overdose reversal medication. The treatment came too late for the 19-year-old Chavez. The pills vary widely in strength from a tiny amount to enough to cause lethal overdoses. Law enforcement officials say they have become a lucrative new product for the cartel despite the conviction of Sinaloa kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera in New York. The 4 Tucson partygoers thought they were taking oxycodone, a much less powerful opioid, investigators believe. The death of Chavez and many others, officials said, illustrate how Arizona and other southwestern states bordering Mexico have become a hotspot in the nation's fentanyl crisis. Fentanyl deaths tripled in Arizona from 2015 through 2017, with plenty of pills and powders sold locally from the arriving fentanyl shipments that are also distributed around the U.S. The drug that has surpassed heroin for overdose deaths has touched all Arizona demographic groups. Chavez's relatives say he was working as a restaurant prep cook with dreams of becoming a chef and trying to turn his life around after serving prison time for a robbery conviction.
From the Journal, file photos. 2 American soldiers, including one from Cortez, Colorado, were killed last Friday while supporting Operation Freedom's Sentinel in Afghanistan, the Department of Defense said in a news release. Both died after being wounded in combat operations in Kunduz province, and both were based at Fort Carson, Colorado, the news release said. They were identified as Sergeant First Class Will D. Lindsay, age 33 of Cortez, and Specialist Joseph P. Collette, age 29 of Lancaster, Ohio. Lindsay, a Green Beret, was assigned to 2nd Battalion, 10th Special Forces Group, Airborne. Collette was assigned to the 242nd Ordnance Battalion, 71st Explosive Ordnance Disposal Group. Will was one of the best in our formation, with more than a decade of service in the regiment at all levels of non-commissioned officer leadership, Colonel Lawrence Ferguson, 10th Group Commander, stated in a news release emailed to the Journal. Quote, "We will focus now on supporting his family and honoring his legacy and sacrifice. His Special Forces family is deeply saddened at the loss," Ferguson said. Lindsay was born on August 26, 1985 in Cortez and enlisted in the Army on July 7, 2004. The U.S. Army Special Operations Command said in the news release, after training and basic airborne school at Fort Benning, Georgia, Lindsay completed the Special Forces qualification course and was assigned to 10th Special Forces Group in July of 2006. Lindsay is survived by his wife and 4 daughters, said Lieutenant Colonel Lauren Beimer, Public Affairs Director of the Army Special Operations Command. Lindsay served 5 tours to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation New Dawn, as well as deployments to Tajikistan in 2016 for a counter-narcotics mission, Beimer said. His awards and decorations include the Bronze Star Medal with 4 oak leaf clusters, a Purple Heart, the NATO Medal, the Special Forces Tab, the Combat Infantryman Badge, the Military Free Fall Jump Master Badge, the Master Parachutist Badge, and the Chilean Airborne Wings. Collette was a 9-year Army veteran and on his first Afghanistan deployment. He earned the Army Achievement Medal 4 times and had recently married. Details about the battle in Kunduz province have not been released, and the incident was under investigation, the Department of Defense said. The deaths come amid recent insurgent Taliban attacks and negotiations to end the 17-year war. The Pentagon has been developing plans to withdraw up to half of the U.S. forces in Afghanistan and stepping up efforts and having the U.S. negotiate with the Taliban.
According to the Cortez Journal, the number of homeless students in Durango School District 9R has increased by 63% in recent years. During the 2016-17 school year, 68 homeless students were identified in the district, and last year, the number increased to 111 students, according to the Colorado Department of Education. Across La Plata County, 157 students were identified as homeless during the 2017-18 school year. The living conditions for the 111 homeless students varied. 56 were living with friends or family, 27 were living in hotels and motels, and 25 were living in shelters or transitional housing. 3 were considered unsheltered. All those living conditions fit the definition of homelessness under federal law. It is unknown why a growing number of students are without homes, said Heather Payette, who administers district services for homeless students. One of the reasons may be the high cost of housing in Durango, said Jackie Oros, 9R's chief student services officer. Another reason may be that 9R is getting better at identifying students who are homeless, she said. The district is required by law to identify homeless students. Those students may face challenges that their peers do not, such as trouble commuting to school, instability in their home life, and lack of access to health care, Payette said.
From the Journal File Photo, Jeremiah Damron has been found not guilty by reason of insanity in the 2017 death of his mother and will be committed to the Colorado Department of Human Services. During a hearing on March 14th in 22nd Judicial District Court, state psychiatrist Dr. Thomas Gray provided testimony as an expert witness. Based on his recommendation, the prosecution and defense stipulated that Damron was mentally insane at the time of the criminal offense, according to a statement from District Attorney Will Furst. The court committed Damron to the custody of the Colorado Mental Health Institute at Pueblo. Furst stated that where he will remain indefinitely until he is safe and fit for release. Court documents state several family members spoke during the hearing. Quote, Mr. Damron's case represents a unique perspective into the consequences a community must face when mental illness is untreated or undiagnosed, Furst stated. Our hearts go out to those who have suffered through the effects Mr. Damron's mental deterioration and must mourn the loss of a loved one. He stated he hopes the Colorado legislature stops ignoring the needs of the mentally ill and provides, quote, meaningful resources towards diagnosis and care. With proper attention to the needs of our mentally afflicted, violence like this could be prevented, Furst stated. Damron, aged 38, was arrested on July 20th of 2017 after his mother's body was found beaten and burned in the backyard of his mobile home off County Road G in Cortez. He was initially found competent to stand trial in August of 2018, but a second sanity evaluation was ordered after he pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity in October 2018. Damron was arrested on North Sligo Street by Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin and 2 Cortez police officers July 20th, 2017. Nowlin said officers had responded to a report of a homicide at Damron's mobile home in the 7,000 block of County Road 21.75. The body of Christy Damron, age 62, was found in his backyard that morning. Deputies had confronted Damron the night before the arrest in response to a report of domestic violence and assault. He said deputies were able to, quote, de-escalate the situation and remove Damron's wife and son from the property.
According to the Cortez Journal, child poverty rates are falling in the region, a positive sign for long-term public health according to new health rankings. Social and economic factors such as child poverty and educational achievement have the largest impact on the community's health, said Jenna West Kowalski with County Health Rankings, a program of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the University of Wisconsin Public Health Institute. The County Health Rankings released this week found La Plata County is 16th among 64 counties in Colorado for health outcomes, a measure based on how many poor physical and mental health days community members experience and how long residents live. It's a measurement to indicate how healthy the community is right now. La Plata County ranked 11th for health behaviors, a ranking based on residents' habits, available medical care, socioeconomic factors, and quality of the environment. The ranking is meant to measure how healthy the county will be in the future. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Map shows showers and thunderstorms for the southeast U.S. all the way up to the Rust Belt. Back to the east of the Intermountain West sits more rain and snow potential along a low pressure front, and behind that, rain and snow returns to the west coast and Pacific Northwest. The southwest holds a high pressure system area wide. The regional outlook is much quieter than we've been seeing lately, with fog being the main weather nuisance for today, burning off as the day progresses. Residual moisture may bring isolated showers to the western slope, producing light snow mainly in the central and northern mountains of Colorado. The snowfall accumulations are only expected to be a few inches, if any. Showers should dissipate by morning tomorrow, lingering in the northern mountains the longest. Again, more fog is predicted for tomorrow in the morning. Today marks the beginning of an upper ridge building over the Intermountain West, so we'll see a warming trend for the region. Which brings us to the local 5-day outlook for a possible week of weather without precipitation. Today sunny with a high near 53. Tonight mostly clear with a low around 31 degrees. Tuesday mostly sunny and windy with a high near 60. East-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour become south 10 to 15 miles an hour in the afternoon, with winds gusting to as high as 25. Tuesday night partly cloudy with a low around 38 with diminishing winds. Then Wednesday mostly sunny with a high near 60 and again a windy day with south-southwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour and gusts to 25 miles an hour. Wednesday night partly cloudy with a low around 37. Thursday mostly sunny with a high near 56. Thursday night mostly cloudy with a low to 32. Friday mostly sunny again with a high near 47. Friday night partly cloudy with a low around 27. And Saturday mostly sunny with a high near 47. Saturday night partly cloudy with a low around 29. And spring has officially begun, though the end of the last week was a little rough on the first crocus blooming. If you have a weather photo that you would like to share, email dcbnnews@gmail.com or join the Facebook group Dove Creek Local Weather Photos and post them there. And now, back to the news.
From the Cortez Journal, after being closed nearly 3 weeks because of avalanche danger, U.S. Highway 550 on Red Mountain Pass opened Friday morning. Lisa Schwantes, spokeswoman for the Colorado Department of Transportation, said the route between Silverton and Ouray was cleared after avalanches buried the road in up to 60 feet of snow. Red Mountain Pass closed March 3rd earlier this week. CDOT said it could take another 2 weeks to get the pass opened. But Schwantes said crews worked 24/7 to open it sooner. Schwantes said CDOT even had to clear 2 avalanche slides triggered Friday morning. Chain laws are in effect for all vehicles traveling through the pass. Schwantes said the top of the pass is icy and snowpacked, and the lower elevations are wet and slushy.
Reported in the Colorado Sun, Mike Lefevre knows all about the nascent effort to recall Governor Jared Polis. The Eastern Colorado farmer and corn industry promoter said it's all the talk online, particularly in rural parts of the state, where voters are upset about the governor's support for the National Popular Vote Compact and new restrictions on oil and gas production. Quote, everybody in Eastern Colorado is very upset about this because you're taking our vote away and our income away, Lefevre said, referencing the 2 measures. The building frustration towards Democratic leaders comes less than 3 months after the party took complete control of the Capitol and reflects conservative opposition to their aggressive policy agenda. The potential repercussions extend to the General Assembly, where at least one Democratic lawmaker may face a recall election with fundraising support from the top Republican in the House. Quote, it's a bottom-up thing, but once that energy gets built from the bottom up, we will certainly try to harness it and try to get back some seats, said House GOP leader Patrick Neville. The Castle Rock lawmaker is listed as the director of a new recall effort in an email sent under his name this week that asked for money for a statewide recall of, quote, some of the worst Democrat offenders. Neville and other opposition leaders argue that a new election is needed to oust Democrats because their policies are too radical. The National Popular Vote Compact, a move to bypass the Electoral College, and overhaul of oil and gas regulations are the most often mentioned. But other legislation listed in the complaints includes measures to allow judges to confiscate guns from those deemed a mental health risk, new mandates for schools that teach sexual education, and efforts to roll back spending limits in the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. A separate effort is underway to repeal the National Popular Vote law. The threat of recalls is just the latest part of a Republican strategy to resist the Democratic agenda in any way possible. But the prospect of recall elections looms particularly large in Colorado politics after the national attention on the ouster of 2 Democratic state senators in 2013 for for their support of tougher gun regulations. Whether this nuclear option strategy will work again is much debated, even among outnumbered Republican lawmakers. Democratic leaders are dismissive of the entire concept, saying, quote, "People are going to scream overreach no matter what we do." The push to recall Polis is the most audacious because no one has ever done it successfully in Colorado. So far, the discussion is mostly relegated to social media platforms, making it hard to calibrate the seriousness of the campaign or the extent of its reach. An issue committee and related 527 political organizations filed paperwork this month with the state to start the, quote, official recall Colorado Governor Jared Polis movement. A separate Resist Polis PAC that formed in July changed its mission last week to include recalling the Democratic governor. The petition campaign cannot start until 6 months into Polis's term, according to state law, and to make the ballot, it would require 631,266 signatures collected in 60 days, a Herculean and expensive task. Polis declined to comment on the recall talk. A spokeswoman told the Colorado Sun, quote, "The governor is focused on governing."
From the Cortez Journal, a Colorado rock band named for a term referencing police violence has changed the group's title because one of its members is also a law enforcement officer. The Denver Post reported Monday that Alley Ride dropped its name after the Denver officer informed police officials who recommended the name should be changed. The newspaper says that in urban culture, an alley ride refers to police driving suspects to an alley and beating them instead of taking them to jail, or officers driving young people into rival gang territory and leaving them to fend for themselves. The Post says social media posts indicate the group has changed its name to Devil's Causeway Band. The paper says the group debuted in December and covers classic rock songs.
From the Journal, the first days of spring in Cortez and Dove Creek have been marked by unpredictable weather conditions, including a funnel cloud appearance in Cortez on Friday. Brent McWhirter, co-owner of Moose and More on Main Street, got some snapshots of a clearly defined cloud just east of Cortez about 12:08 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Junction picked up McWhirter's photos and shared them on the organization's Facebook page. Quote, "Given the state of the atmosphere, this is most likely a, quote, cold air funnel, which is most common in the spring and fall," the Weather Service wrote on the Facebook post. Funnels of this type pose little threat to the public as they rarely reach the ground. However, when they do, they only produce EF0 level tornado damage. Winds are typically less than 85 miles an hour. A winter storm watch had remained in effect for the southwest San Juan Mountains until Friday at midnight, with heavy snow expected at elevations above 8,500 feet and 1 to 3 more inches in Montezuma and Dolores counties. Winds also reached up to 35 miles an hour, the National Weather Service said.
From the Durango Herald, a huge study suggests the Apple Watch can detect a worrisome irregular heartbeat at least sometimes, but experts say more work is needed to tell if using wearable technology to screen for heart problems really helps. More than 419,000 Apple Watch users signed up for the unusual study, making it the largest ever to explore screening seemingly healthy people for arterial fibrillation, a condition that, if untreated, eventually can trigger strokes. Stanford University researchers reported Saturday that the watch didn't panic flocks of people, warning just 0.5% of participants, about 2,100, that they might have a problem. But even among those flagged, it's not perfect, cautioned Dr. Richard Kovacs of the American College of Cardiology, who wasn't involved with the study. People who received an alert were supposed to consult a studied doctor via telemedicine and then wear an EKG patch measuring cardiac activity for the next week to determine the watch's accuracy. Some skipped the virtual checkup to consult their own doctors. Overall, about 57% sought medical attention. Among those who got EKG monitoring through the study, a third had arterial fibrillation, according to preliminary results being presented at an American College of Cardiology conference in New Orleans.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings. So March 30th in Dolores, it's the St. Patty's Day after party, the Dolores Chamber's annual spring banquet and community celebration awards ceremony. This festive cabin fever breaking evening of wild costumes, great conversation, and celebration features a big silent auction representing businesses and organizations from all over Montezuma County pitching in to help provide scholarships and club funding to local Dolores schools. There's also a costume contest. The night starts at 5:30 with the annual membership meeting open to all current and interested Dolores Chamber members. 6 p.m. is the banquet kickoff with a cocktail hour featuring loud toasts and door prizes and photo ops. Silent auction open for review and bidding, and then at 7 p.m. the dinner starts. Locally catered food and occasional shenanigans. By 7:45 the live auction will commence and professionally auctioneered. At 8:45, Business and Citizen of the Year is recognized. The 2018 Business of the Year was the Dolores River Brewery, and the 2018 Citizen of the Year was Linnea Vass. They will be on hand to announce the 2019 Business and Citizen of the Year. March 30th is also a Bare Roots Basics class from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Four Seasons Greenhouse on Road P in Dolores. Bare root stock can be an economical way to landscape your yard, but these trees and shrubs require special handling. Join Vic as he walks you through the steps you'll need to know to achieve success with your bare root stocks. And then March 31st, join Afrobeatniks drummer Bradley Hosel for his next Exploration in Rhythms class on Sunday, March 31st from 3 to 4:30 p.m. It's $15 per person. Bradley has been teaching, performing, and leading drumming experiences for over 25 years. He's the director of Samba Galactica, Brazilian percussion marching troupe, and is the principal drummer of Dundunba, West African drum and dance community in Durango. He has studied in Cuba, Guinea, and West Africa. Drawing upon his deep experiences, Bradley will guide you into the moment, feeling the pulse and inspiring you to find your place in the rhythm. It's open to all levels. You must RSVP to David Mallon at lovelightstudios with a Z at gmail.com or call him at 970-903-0810. Let David know if you will be bringing your own drum, otherwise drums will be available for use. The event will be held at the Mount Lookout Grange, 680 Grand Avenue in Mancos. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, you can contact us by email at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
Be sure to like us there on Facebook and join in on the news of our area, and of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.